Hey gang, this is your old pal Ono Sendai 8 coming back at you for the first time in the glory and majesty of 720p 60 frames per second. So hopefully this looks pretty good. My camera has a pretty long focus length, my new camera I bought for the trip. Just a side note on that, just awesome. We had the best honeymoon ever. We went to Prague in the Czech Republic, and we took the train from there to Vienna, spent 4 days in Vienna, went to Salzburg. My wife is a professional classical pianist, so we went to a bunch of music sites. And then we went to Munich for the 200th annual Oktoberfest. So it was just a huge blast. I just can't believe it, that it happened the way it did. It was so much fun. We had a great time. We didn't plan anything. Every day we wake up and say, where do we want to go? And so it was just perfect. We loved it. But I just also wanted to throw out a real quick note. Thanks a lot to Caleb, to Ashen Clone. He threw out a big shout out to me and said some really nice things. Caleb's the king. If you guys haven't checked out his site, I don't know what you're doing watching mine. He has a huge collection, probably one of the best Game & Watch collections on the web. He doesn't open them or play with them, so they're worth, stratospherically more money than any of the crap I'm ever going to show you. But a real nice guy. Go check out his channel. He is Ashen Clone, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes. Thanks again, Caleb. Today I'm going to talk to you about Squish, which is another multi-screen game. We've been over a number of these already, but this is one of my favorites. This one actually is a pretty good time. They sold less than 250,000 of these, US and Europe only. According to the French guide, it's got a rarity of 2, which is really not very rare, and you can find these fairly cheap. For example, I got this one included with some other game I bought, so it essentially was free. It's a maze game that's a whole lot like Bomb Sweeper that we talked about. Right now I've got all the sprites lit up, and it's going to be tricky for me to focus this, mainly because it's a dual screen. I'm going to try to show you both at once, because this is one of the rare games where both screens actually matter in real time as you play. So this game came out in 1986 on the 17th of April. You play as Ziggy the Maze Man, and this bad guy up here is called Grumpy. And I don't know if you can make this out, but there are big, like old-fashioned computers all around the corners, and they've got spikes sticking out of them. And the way the game works is Ziggy points his fingers, and it says, you can see in these little boxes, down, up, right, left, and shows your miss counter, shows your alarm timer. It's pretty fancy. What do you call it? Like a translate here, a pretty fancy overlay. But what happens is, as the game goes along, you're trying to go through this maze, and instead of Bomb Sweeper where you're moving through the maze is moving around you. Grumpy will point up, so the whole screen moves up, and if you get crushed against the top because you're not going through the maze fast enough, you die. So the maze can go in any of these 4 directions. It's actually kind of a cool game. It speeds up, gets harder and harder, and it's got really novel gameplay. For game B, the only time these are used, you can see these maze bugs. Whenever they appear, you have to run over and try to grab them when you have a second, and it's massive points. After 80 and 90 points, the mazes start getting more complicated in game A. After 300, all your misses are cleared if you get to 300 points. So the game's pretty difficult. It is a lot of fun to play. It is only a rarity too, so you can find them. And let's run through a minute of gameplay here. So you can see he's pointing down, which means the maze is all moving down. I hope you can make this out. Now he's switching to left, so the whole maze is moving to the left. And see, that's me on the bottom screen. Now the maze is moving right, and you can see where this is fun. I mean, this never ends. You never know what way he's going to push next. Now the maze is moving up. I'll show you what happens if I get crushed. You can see me impaled on those spikes right there. Let me show you that again because I was off center. I am impaled on the spikes. So in any case, that is Squish, and I say in any case a ton of times in these videos. I noticed going back and watching. So definitely a fun game. I don't think you can play it anywhere but in the actual control unit. Actually owning the game rather. It's only got 2 switches, up, down, left, right. It's got no buttons except for your starts. And that's about it. Definitely a fun game. I like these puzzle games. This one at Bomb Sweeper I play quite a bit. So thanks a lot for being so patient, YouTube, and for sticking around with me. And I will definitely be producing a lot more stuff real soon. Thanks.